Throughout my life, I've had times when I've experienced something, an emotion, which I always found surprisingly moving. This was usually through music, but the emotion passed and it was usually quite easy to ignore. But when I came up to Oxford on a choral scholarship, I was singing in chapel and I experienced it again. I was suddenly crying and I had no idea why. At the start of my second year, I started talking to a friend of a friend about his Christian faith. And I realised that although I didn't believe in God, I couldn't explain why. I had never taken the time to think about what I believed about the world, and I decided to try and find some answers to the big questions. I also thought the faith he was talking about could help make sense of my experiences of the world and my emotions. Over the term, I began to accept Christianity on an intellectual level. Although I didn't believe it yet, I couldn't immediately reject it either. I went to a Christian Union event where the speaker told us to look at Christianity from the inside, to explore it properly. This was a turning point for me, as it was when I first genuinely let myself think that Christianity could be true on a personal level. There comes a point where you have to stop looking at it on a merely intellectual level and engage with your emotions and will as well. It took me a long time to admit that I'd gradually become a Christian and to realise that I couldn't ignore that it was true. Becoming a Christian hasn't been an easy thing. My family aren't religious and I think at times it's hard for them to understand, though they have been really supportive. It's also made some things harder. Every decision I now make has this new perspective, and I've had to rethink a lot of the decisions I'd already made about my life. But compared to the joy it's given me, these things start to seem insignificant. Joy is something I realised that I'd never experienced before. It's more than happiness, it's incredible but also terrifying as well. I wasn't unhappy before, but my life is just so much fuller and more meaningful now. Knowing that God loves me for who I am has been amazingly liberating, and I've learned to accept myself more. I've also been able to let go of a lot of the worries I had about pleasing other people and trying to be someone I'm not. The Christian faith has explained a lot about my life, about me as a person, as well as my thoughts and emotions.